Chapter 23. Sanctuary of the Heart. Selena's apartment building stood tucked between a closed bodega and a laundromat that never seemed to shut its doors, even at 2 in the morning. The East End neighborhood wore its poverty openly, graffiti marking territorial boundaries, while broken streetlights created pools of shadow that honest people avoided. I followed Selena up 3 flights of narrow stairs, my legs protesting every step. She kept glancing back, ready to catch me if I stumbled, but I forced myself to maintain steady progress. Pride, maybe, or stubborn refusal to show weakness even now. "Home sweet home," Selena said, unlocking 3 separate deadbolts. "Sorry about the security. This neighborhood isn't exactly safe." I finished. "I know. I patrol here twice a week." She smiled at that, pushing the door open. Immediately, a chorus of meows erupted as half a dozen cats converged on us like a furry welcoming committee. A orange tabby wound between my ankles, while a sleek black cat leaped onto the nearby bookshelf to observe with golden eyes. "Everyone, this is Renee," Selena announced, scooping up a gray kitten. "Renee, this is my family." The apartment was small but immaculate. Bookshelves lined one wall, filled with everything from martial arts manuals to Dorothy Parker poetry. Cat trees occupied strategic corners, and I noticed food bowls scattered throughout, each carefully labeled with different names. Through an open doorway, I glimpsed her Catwoman suit hanging in the closet like a secret waiting to be worn. "You really do love them," I said, watching her set out fresh water for a calico. "They're honest," Selena replied. "They don't pretend to be something they're not. If a cat doesn't like you, you know it. If they trust you." She trailed off as the orange tabby jumped onto my lap, purring. "Well, that's Marmalade. She's usually shy around strangers." I stroked the cat's soft fur, feeling some of the tension drain from my shoulders. Maybe she recognizes a fellow night prowler. Selena disappeared into the kitchen, returning with 2 glasses of wine. She'd changed from her street clothes into an oversized sweater and leggings, her blonde hair loose around her shoulders. Without the armor of her professional wardrobe, she looked younger, softer, vulnerable in ways I suspected she rarely allowed. "You should rest," she said, settling beside me on the worn couch. "Bruce said your body went through something like a seizure when you rewrote reality." "I'm fine." "Renee." She touched my cheek, turning my face toward hers. "You're allowed to not be fine. You don't have to be strong every second." The words hit deeper than I expected. How long had I been the protector? Since childhood, fighting Freddy Krueger in nightmares while other kids worried about homework. Through high school, water polo, and MMA, proving I could take hits and keep moving. Training with Bruce, becoming Crimson Claw, wearing strength like armor because Gotham needed someone who wouldn't break. But sitting here with Selena's gentle hand on my face, surrounded by purring cats in a warm apartment while snow fell outside, I felt something inside me crack open. "I'm scared," I whispered, "not of Shrek or fighting. I'm scared of losing you before I really get to have you." Selena set down her wine glass and moved closer, carefully avoiding my bruised ribs. "Then let's make tonight count. No costumes, no missions, just us." She kissed me slowly, thoroughly, her lips tasting of wine and something sweet. When she pulled back, her blue eyes held a question. I answered by kissing her again, deeper this time. My body ached, but I didn't care. Her hands tangled in my dark hair as mine found the curve of her waist, pulling her closer. The world outside, Shrek's threats, the ticking clock, the price the universe might demand, all of it faded until there was only this, her warmth, her breath, her heartbeat against mine. "Bedroom," she murmured against my mouth. We stumbled through the small apartment, shedding clothes between kisses. She was careful with my injuries, her fighter's knowledge of the body evident in how she touched me. Strong hands turned gentle, mapping the bruises she avoided and the places that made me gasp. I traced the scars on her knuckles from years of practicing Jeet Kune Do, kissed the old cigarette burn on her shoulder that I suspected came from Shrek. I see you, I told her as we fell onto her bed, cats scattering with indignant meows. Not his assistant, not just Catwoman. I see you, Selina. Her eyes glistened with unshed tears. No one's ever said that to me before. Then everyone else was blind. We made love slowly, learning each other's rhythms and responses. She was both fierce and tender, matching my intensity while respecting my limits. When we finally lay tangled together, breathless and satisfied, I felt more complete than I had in years. Selina traced lazy patterns on my shoulder, her head resting against my chest. "Tell me something true," she said quietly. "Something you haven't told anyone else." I thought about it, listening to the distant sirens and the soft purring of a cat who'd claimed the foot of the bed. When I fought Freddy Krueger, when the Dream Angels first came to me. I was 8 years old, and so terrified I wet myself, but I still fought because there was no one else. And sometimes I'm still that scared little girl, pretending to be brave. She lifted her head, meeting my eyes. "You are brave. Courage isn't not being afraid. It's being terrified and fighting anyway." "Your turn," I said. "Something true." "I was going to kill him," Selina admitted. "Max, that night at the construction site. If you and Dick hadn't been there. I had a gun in my suit. I was ready to become a murderer if it meant stopping him. But you didn't, because you showed me another way, showed me I didn't have to become a monster to fight monsters." She kissed my collarbone. "You saved me, Renee, in more ways than one." We lay in comfortable silence as dawn began to lighten the windows. In a few hours, we'd face Shrek at Robinson Park. The endgame was beginning, and I still didn't know what price I'd pay for rewriting reality. But right now, wrapped in Selina's arms with cats purring around us, I felt something I hadn't expected: hope.